Terrorism. I, like everyone in Bassetlaw, is disgusted and horrified by the brutal murder of children and others at the concert in Manchester. We all stand with Manchester. But the question that needs to be asked is what can be done to protect ourselves and our way of life beyond just stepping up security. We've been here before. Army on the streets for a few days, high state of alert, and then business as usual. Of course, stepping up security is right and proper, but it's not enough, not least because at the same time, over the last 3 years, Theresa May has cut the policing, dealing with terrorism, and their monitoring of terrorists. And I specifically challenged her in March 2015 and since then, in writing and in person, over those cuts. Those cuts need to be reversed. But it's also not just about money. It's a battle of ideology. We need to call out our enemy for what they are. They are Islamist fascists. That's the accurate term for them. And the reason I call them fascists is because it is their intent and desire to impose their values on the rest of us, their way of seeing the world, their rules of living on the rest of us by force. They're not interested in democracy. They're not interested in putting forward their point of view. They're interested in terrorising and forcing us. And it's no accident with their warped values that they pick on bars and nightclubs, people out shopping, young people at concerts, people going to football matches, to murder and terrorise. They stand against everything that we stand for. But politicians have been cowardly in not calling them out for what they are, Islamist fascists. And as well as that, Parliament has ummed and ahed about whether or not to have more powers for the intelligence services and the police. People from all parties citing civil liberties, some still doing so today. Well, my vote has always been to put early intelligence in tackling terrorists before my civil liberties. Frankly, I don't care who's looking at my internet and social media. If it means they're looking at the terrorists, they're getting early intelligence, they're catching more of them. In that trade-off, I back more powers for the security services and the police at the expense of our civil liberties. And the other thing we failed to do, and I've been hugely involved in pressing for this in this country and across the world, is holding the giant internet companies to account. That's where this hatred is spread most widely. We can all recall those sickening beheadings that took place in Syria and Iraq, broadcast on YouTube. YouTube owned by Google, who failed to act to block them. We see terrorists using messaging and encryption in order to organise what they're doing. I think we need to hold the internet companies to account by changing the law. Germany and Israel have already done so. Make them accountable for what's published on their platforms. That should have happened already. It needs to happen urgently in the new Parliament. I will keep fighting for these changes. Sympathy is not going to be enough to defeat terrorism. The occasional use of the army on the street is not going to be enough to defeat terrorism. We need to root them out. We need to destroy them. We need to know who they are before they strike. I'll be publishing this week, in more detail, precisely what I've been doing, how I've been doing it, the calls I've been making, and what I want to see happen. It's the biggest fight facing us in the West. It's the biggest fight facing us in this country. We can win. We have to win. Doing nothing, pretending it'll go away, is not an answer.